Hey Busy Fit fam, this is Stephen Anderson and I'm your Busy Fit coach. Welcome to week 6, day 6 of your Busy Fit 2.0 Healthy Habits Coaching, and I am so glad that you're here. We focus on solutions and not the problems. We do that because you tend to get more of what you focus on. Trust and believe that whatever obstacle you come up against, there is a solution out there. You have to see it, you have to seek it, you have to take action on it. If you remember when Benjamin Franklin was out there in the midst of that storm and he was harnessing that electricity, the power had always been in those storms, but it took the right mindset to see it. And that's what we do. We have that mindset so we can see the opportunities to move forward in our storms and make them work out in our favor. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that we ignore the problems, but it simply means we identify the problem and then we immediately start thinking about solutions. So in order to do that, we ask ourselves the golden question over and over again. And that golden question is, how can I? Start getting your mind thinking towards the areas of solutions. So let's say you have to travel for your work and you know that's going to be a challenge for you to stay on your healthy habits and routines. So then the first question is, how can I stay on my healthy habits and routines knowing that I have to travel? And really start thinking about it and just ask it. I ask it to myself maybe 10, 15, 20 times until the solution starts coming, because believe me, it's out there. The Bible tells us to ask, to seek, and to knock. And I say to keep knocking and keep knocking until the solution presents itself by opening the door. And if you are finding that you're really stuck, then you can ask this other question that will really free up the mind, lower the bar a little bit, and ask, can I at least? So if you know that you're not going to be able to get everything done, say, can I at least? Can I at least buy some fruit? Can I at least pack some water? Can I at least take some carrot sticks with me to have? Start thinking of those solutions in smaller bites, and I promise you the answer will come. Now, when you start looking at the last 3 habits that we've learned, and that is making sure we have a healthy source of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats in our eating plan, you now have the basic framework for structuring your meals, because those 3 things are considered your macronutrients. And those encompass every other nutrient that you need. So everything else that you're going to need to get in your body, you're going to get them. Those are micronutrients that will be encompassed in those 3 major macronutrients. There are no more. There are only 3. So now that you know what those big 3 are, you're learning how to structure them in your meals. You now have the framework that we can start getting a little bit deeper and understanding more about how the food affects our bodies. Please understand that food is very complex, and even though we've separated them off into these 3 macronutrients, almost nothing out there is going to be totally one thing. So in order to determine whether something is one or the other, we pretty much look at what is most dominant in that food. And some foods really can be spread out to where they are pretty equal in lots of different areas. So you'll start learning how to fine tune that, but understanding that pretty much your proteins are going to be those vegetable sources that we talked about, the quinoa and the lentils, but those are also carbohydrates. When you're talking about proteins that include animals with their animal fat, obviously those are going to include both protein and fats. So we'll start learning how to structure those things together, but you have the basics that you need, and we're going to continue to dig in, and I'm so excited to be able to start bringing that to you in the weeks to come. All right, now we're on to our calls to action. Of course, we're making sure that we're reading our Busy Fit mindset statements every single day. Assistant coach, make sure that that student stays on that, okay? And we're making sure that we get our water in. That's number 1. Number 2, we're making sure we get our activity in. We're planning. We have a commitment to ourselves. And number 3, we're making sure that we're eating slowly to 80%, feeling for our body's responses to the food. And number 4, 5, and 6, of course, we're getting our healthy source of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Need you to also be making sure you're aware of when you're prep up for the setup and when your setup day is here. Make sure you make time for that, and you're writing in your notebook, in your workbook. That's so important for you to be able to write it down. There's magic in that writing. When you're writing, you're winning. Get it written down. The paper never forgets, but your mind will. Remember that we are coming up on the end of our bi-weekly time frame, so it's time to pull out that scale and that tape measure, hopefully that body fat scale, and start getting that information and writing it in your workbook. All right, remember that scale and that tape measure, they serve us. They give us the information. They report to us. They don't tell us what we're worth. And I have a very powerful and practical video available for you in the resource area on how to focus. Not just the fact that we need to focus, but some really practical techniques. Please check it out from a guy named Brendan Burchard. And until I see you tomorrow, make sure you persist. I will persist until I succeed. I will never give up. And I'll see you on tomorrow.